Welcome to the FCI London podcast, where we sit down with some of London's most influential luxury designers to explore the stories and inspiration behind their work. I am your host, Imke Dutoy, and today I'm joined by none other than Bilal Tatar, founder and principal designer of B Studio, a London-based interior architecture and design studio, creating modern, sustainable, and functional spaces that reflect true elegance. And with over 20 years of international experiences across cities like Istanbul, New York, and Seoul, Bilal brings a global perspective and a refined technical eye to everything he designs. Bilal, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here today. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello, Imke. Thank you for introduction. Yes, I'm very excited to be on your channel.
Fantastic. So, Bilal, we're just going to jump straight in and look a little bit at the designer behind the studio. You've built B Studio around structure and precision. Do you ever worry that technical perfection is slowly killing the soul of design?
Well, yeah, I think it's a balance. First, as a designer, you would like to think out of the box and then dream the space and feel it. But of course, has to be sit on the basis like reality structures or any budget, this kind of boring stuff. But in the end,
Yes.
that's the reality. We try to balance it. So and at certain stages, we release ourselves, our imagination, like without really thinking about these kind of constraints. We always remind ourselves. So there is we should think about how they gonna install it. We should worry about the budget. But I think it's like we don't start the point like, hey, this is our budget. What we can do with this budget? That's not our approach. I mean, it's
Yes.
a kind of we have different on different project in different approaches, but in general, yes, as I say, first we release we start to dream from the top, and then suddenly slowly
And
we
then
settle
bring it
down.
down. Yes, no, of course. So, what are three luxury design rules you've quietly kicked to the curb over the years, and why was it high time to let go of it?
Well, the luxury term is kind of, it's not about being expensive for me. It is about like
Yes,
what you like to achieve and how long you want to use that item. I mean, if we
of
want to
course.
make an analogy, it's like when you buy a good brand, like a bag or jacket, it lasts for years. In the long term, actually, it's not being expensive. You invest a lot in the beginning,
Yes,
but it lasts for years. Similarly, let's say
yes,
a hand tufted carpet. I mean, yes, in the beginning it's expensive, but it can, you can even give to your sons or kids, like it is a kind of
mm,
legacy. So
yes,
luxury for me means not necessarily to be expensive. It could be, I mean, usually
mm,
expensive, of course, but it is not about the money. It's about like how long you want to use it. Like also
of
how
course.
it's produced. Is it sustainably produced?
Mm.
How it's sourced? This kind of things makes that luxury feel.
Absolutely. Creating something that's timeless, as you said as well, something that can get passed down from generation to generation. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, it becomes priceless. It
yeah,
actually has way more value. Like as you said, about
uh-huh,
something that doesn't have to be necessarily about expense and that for luxury, which no, I think I completely also agree with, with what you're saying. Also creating something that's sustainable and functional as well as bespoke and elegant, which can fall into the brand of luxury. Looking back, what was the biggest misconception you had about running a design business in London's luxury market specifically?
I mean, I used to work in New York, and the houses in the United States was much larger. The biggest
Mm,
challenge I
mm.
have is like space is
Yeah.
very small, so I have to consider it. Like, oh my god, even the I mean, regardless. I mean, there are, of course, like there are big mansions, but I'm just excluding them for now. In general, the houses are very small, so that is kind of very difficult to make decisions on the furniture, and the clients, I mean, everybody travels. They see something. Oh, I want to have it, but I mean, sorry, but it doesn't fit your space. I mean, you should be considerate. So that is kind of biggest challenge I had in London, to be honest, when I moved from another, and then now I get used to it. But yeah, it was one of the challenge I had personally.
No, absolutely. I mean, understanding also that you work across quite a few different cities across the globe as well, the amount of different spaces and how you need to adapt, and look at those misconceptions of what one space can do versus another space must be quite interesting and obviously quite a nice challenge as well, I think, as a designer as well.
Exactly.
Looking a little bit at the creative side, for the creative mind of a designer, social media is now the official dictator of design trends, or most people, would feel that way. Do you think it's influencing designers' creative choices, even if they're pretending it's not?
Yes and no. I mean, for me, I use the social media just a tool to be visible, but I don't use it marketing tool, to be honest. Everybody has a Pinterest mood board now. They approach to me, and that's our like job to do this visibility and present them the mood board. Now the clients come up with the, like, hey, this is our mood board. All right, thank you, but all right, let me do my job.
Which is great because it keeps to the uniqueness. I think social media is so constantly changing and expanding, and sometimes people get so drawn and sucked into it as well that that's what they're following. So it's really nice to know that you're keeping your uniqueness, and it's not a tool you are using, as you said as well, to attract people, but more to have a space to showcase your work. Do you think designers still think about designing for people, or are they too busy designing for the next Instagram post? If we, looking at this perspective.
Yeah, good question. I mean, a little bit both, right? I mean, of course, we want to create this stage that to able. I mean, when I design, I say, "Oh, this would be a cover page." That because when we do the
Yes.
CGIs, we are walking through in the space. I say, "Oh my god, this is gonna be on the cover page." So we get
Mm,
excited, and then, but during this process, things might change depending on the budget or
of course.
depending on the client preference. And I may end up like saying, okay, maybe not in the cover page anymore. But so I usually follow, I don't
Sure.
like direct client to go that path. I mean, I usually more follow what they're comfortable with. In the end, I really give importance what client prefers, because in the end, that's their
Yes.
home. And but I will give you example about this the social media thing. Once I had a client, and we are choosing a coffee table for them, and then she showed me a coffee table which is impossible, like 1.4 meter
Mm,
diameter solid wood, but
yes.
the shape is like a bare like bark wood. I said,
Mm,
this is not real, this is AI. But she said,
yeah.
oh, but I love it,
Yes,
but
yes.
this is not there's not such a tree. I mean, it could be like a laminated
Yes,
wood that you can, it doesn't exist. It is all totally like sci-fi. Like, this is not real. I think it's very important for
absolutely.
the clients to differentiate what is real, what is possible. It is possible.
Yes.
Maybe if you cut like maybe 1,000 years old, like a listed tree from, I don't know, in, as you probably you cannot cut it in England, but let's say you cut it in Far East Asia and bring it to here. Yes, it's possible, and costs you maybe 500,000.
No, absolutely. It's a very, very fine line. And then having to, explain to clients that what you think is there is not always what will be the reality, or what is even possible. Yes, so it's always an interesting conversation with regards to that of what's possible, what is real, especially with the growing of technology and social media, and just how it's moving vastly quickly. The hospitality look has become the default for many luxury residences. Do you think this trend reflects fresh inspiration in luxury interior design? Or is it simply a system of creative exhaustion in that industry?
Wow, this is a difficult question for me. Yes, there are some. They say we want this hospitality, like hotel vibe in our houses. I think it's a personal
Yes.
preference. And some people say we want like minimalist kind of look. Yeah, but this hotel
Mm,
vibe and this luxury. I mean, for me, hotel hospitality design is totally different approach, because you, as a
yes.
designer, says the material durability is kind of being one concern. And I mean, you cannot really go like, because it's a big quantity, you cannot really go like very high-end products. It should be contract material. For me, it's different, but from the look, image, yes, we can create a room looks like an hotel, but when you look at into detail, like fabric and the details, I mean, I cannot use like real wood veneer in a hotel room. It should be like,
Yes.
it should be melamine or it should be a durable material. I mean, and also
Yes.
like on the flooring, it should be like durable and also fire rating. So this kind of stuff, yeah. In general, for me, when you
Absolutely.
say hotel vibe residential, I take it as an image, as not as in the details, are totally different approach.
No, I completely understand. In terms of looking at that, it might also be, I've also noticed that with the trends within that hospitality, look, clean lines, not
Yeah.
too much clutter. And as you said as well, it all comes down to what the client's preference is as well. So it's not
Mm.
necessarily trend that's a
Yeah,
symptom
true,
of creative exhaustion or an
true.
inspiration. It's more around what the client, wants, or the designer's signature that they have.
Correct. And it's a general rule,
Yeah.
right? Who wants to create a? I mean, I don't know. I mean, except maybe maximalists, but which we don't like it much. But who wants to create a cluttered space? I mean, anyway, so we want to organize the space and create as much as like clean lines and storage. Those are our basic rules for designing any
Yes.
space for us. And then the other things like details, like is it gonna be like a time reflection? Then we add this kind of ornaments depending on the
Yes.
style. But those are for us the basic rules, as you say.
Yes. Yes. No, and absolutely. If I could ask, what was one creative risk you took that had you questioning your sanity at the time, but ultimately became a defining element of your style? As every designer's got a specific element that comes a defining element of your style. What was one creative risk you took?
Every project when I start, I get like scared. Am I able to? Am I gonna do that? I feel like
Yes.
I still feel like I'm just graduated, and every project, and I feel that excitement.
Mm.
Am I gonna achieve this? And in the end, and then
Yes.
as much as I get warm, it's like, okay, I think yes, it's gonna go. When you feel the
Yes.
moment, like yeah, it's gonna turn out good, and because you see these images, and each space has its own potential, and I'm
Yes.
scared not to explore and find the perfect potential. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we try many
Yes. No, I
things, and then
completely
I'm
understand.
just
Yeah.
scared of like, did I try all possibilities? Is it the right? Let's say
Mm.
I give you a fabric and you are tailor, all right? And you're gonna cut with your
Yes.
scissor, and when you cut, it's no way back, right? But should I
Yes.
make a mini skirt with that, or should I make a like a blouse, or it's so
Yes.
difficult. Like, and when you first cut, I mean, okay, it's too late, and it's gonna
It's
be
done.
like
Yes. You have to
it's done,
deviate.
and end up. I mean, usually most of the time we end up like we had the good decisions, but yes, all projects for us has we feel that risk to make sure
Yes.
we presented to client all the possibilities and we choose the right decision, the right options.
Absolutely. But as you said as well, I mean, every project's different, has comes with its own risk factor, and like you mentioned as well, as being adaptable as well, because anything can go in one direction, and it's just the way to be adaptable and make it work within that final product. Let's look a little bit now at global inspirations and the industry dynamics. The luxury furniture industry seems obsessed with modularity and multifunctionality these days.
Yeah.
Does this new innovation spark your creativity, or is it just a way of making things tidier and a bit less interesting?
Yeah, this modularity, I mean, for me, it could be useful to, especially when the space is tight, as I mentioned in the
Mm.
beginning, in this London residential, most of the houses are the space is quite limited, and having multifunctionality
Yes,
is add some flexibility on the use. I think that's kind
sure.
of the plus side, but it also
Mm.
kills, as you say, some creativity and the design of the item because to be modular
Yes,
it should be simpler, but it's like a plus or a minus, so everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. So I don't have like a strong opinion about it. Sometimes yes, you need to choose modular unit to solve that problem.
absolutely.
For us, there's a problem, all right? Every space, every design is a kind of a problem in terms of like mathematical problem. And sometimes we use this
Mm.
modular furniture tool to resolve that problem. And sometimes we have we don't need it. We can use any furniture. So for us, I don't have a strong opinion on that.
No, that's absolutely perfectly fine. But I think you absolutely said what it is. It's a balance. At the end of the
And
day, as you said as well, depending on the size of the spaces, what would be functional in that space and what won't, and then looking at it from different perspectives as well. That it's
I'm
not
sorry,
necessarily
I cannot give
doing
any
less
strong
interesting,
opinion
more tidy.
to the listeners. I mean, this is what I feel like. I feel like I'm talking like a politician. They don't give like straight answers. They say yes, maybe no, but I mean that's what I feel like. I don't have any strong opinion. I just have like maybe
Yes.
it may be useful, sometimes not. This is really what this is the case.
Looking at sustainability is now the industry's favorite buzzword. Do you think the so-called green revolution is truly innovative, or is it just old ideas repackaged with a fancier label?
I think sustainability for us is very important. It is not
Mm,
just a label.
mm,
It is real, and we should consider that on all decisions we have. I mean, I don't
sure.
think that, I mean, it is just politicians' responsibility or big countries' responsibility while they like, okay, they have a bigger impact, but as a person, not only forget about being designer, and as a person, I mean, we will do our best to say our role. So we are in a like in a sphere, and we live together, right?
Mm,
We are in the same rooms. So there is no like, hey, my impact doesn't affect. If I don't recycle my rubbish, there's no effect on it. Actually, it does. Well, let's say
it
if you
does.
choose your materials like from sustainable source or other things, yes, it does impact the sustainable in overall environment. Also, this kind of
Absolutely.
products also has an impact on your health. That's also very important. Like, what is
Very true.
the chemicals being used on your product? So we
Mm,
when we eat, we consider this kind of labels. Like, I only eat, let's say, organic chicken. Yeah, that's important because I
mm,
want to know what I'm putting into my mouth. You don't, the people are
yes.
don't doesn't give the same attention. They lay into the bed, they lay into the sofa, their face touches the pillow.
Very
I
true.
mean, if it is chemically sourced, and then people suddenly feel like, oh, I don't know, I have a headache. I don't know why. You know why? Because you use
Mm,
very material, and then there is a kind of
yes.
the chemicals you don't see. I mean, this kind of details. As a designer, our I think
Yes.
role is like to explain this to our client and why these are important.
Absolutely. No, I think that was a great way to also, as an analogy, looking at we are so focused on making sure what we are putting in our bodies, as you said, is organic, is healthy, and we don't look at what it is, but the spaces that we are living in. And
True.
I do agree with you as well. Making sure that clients are informed and steered in the right direction and looking for products that are, sustainable, that are part of that green revolution. And just so that becomes an ongoing conversation and eventually will just become part of everyday life, which I feel is happening within the industry now. From what I understand as well, is that sustainable products and ethically sourced products is a very, very big thing. And a lot of suppliers as
True.
well who are supplying those products are also really following with that revolution as well, which is fantastic. With it's going to be with us for a long time. I still think the conversation is going to progress as we go about it. Is the fast growing pace of technology and AI, especially within the interior design sector at the moment. AI is coming for design jobs. How do you see it changing the role of interior architects in the next 5 years? Will it be a revolution or a slow, painful death of creativity?
I have an opinion on this. Let me put this way. I think AI will be a very useful tool for interior designers, for any designer's job. I think we should use it as a
Yes.
tool, but not as a kind of solution maker.
Mm,
It's not kind of I give the input and then I don't see what's the result. I just send it to directly client. No, I shouldn't be used that way.
yes.
For me, like when I graduated from architectural school, our teachers forced us to draw by hand. And then the last
Mm,
year, the computer came. They said, "Okay, last year project you can make it on the computer." So we make the projects faster now. So, and they were debating on it because computer was there, but they say you should learn how to draw by hand first. Don't use computers. Even we had the opportunity, we have these CAD classes, we have these plotters. They said, no, you're not allowed to use them.
Yes.
So we, in the first 3 years, 4 years, we use all hand sketch and hand
Use
drawing.
the hands.
And then last year they said, okay, you can use computer. Now I'm very good at on computer skill, and I
Yes.
barely use hand sketching, to be honest. I mean, sometimes if
Okay.
I need to, but doesn't mean I don't know how to sketch. I know how to sketch, but the computer is faster for me. So I use AI like this.
Absolutely.
AI is for me to think, to make the things faster, but it is in the end,
Yes.
I should be controlling it. It shouldn't be like vice versa. It's not like design me this room. I should give in like all the data, all the input. And yes, I can see what he's developing and I can take it as a reference. It's the same as like you Google some research, some images from Pinterest or from Google, you
Yes.
to figure out how that would look like. But it doesn't mean you should take
Mm,
it immediately. You should judge it. You should see, wait it.
definitely.
And at the moment, I don't know, maybe the AI is very new tool. Maybe next year it will be very creative too. So we don't know. But still, I feel
You
like
never know.
it will be like I'm projecting, let's say, 10 years later, okay? If the technology goes this speed, I think interior people will have two choices. All right, they can hire AI interior designers, which is I'm totally fine. I
Yes.
mean, it could be probably faster. They will get the results, but it will not have that soul. It's like similar. You can buy
Mm,
machine made, machine tufted carpet, or you can buy hand tufted carpet. By the look, they are
yes.
same. It is totally up to you.
Yes.
One has a soul. One is a person who done that, listen to you
Behind the
as a
design.
designer, listen to client, and we are getting very close. We become like a family. For any project lasts like half year or 6 months almost. We become like a family. I'm celebrating when they have
Yes.
kids. I mean, do you think a AI machine can do that? Like I call them and I check how are the things? Is everything all right? Are you happy with the design? Is AI can do that? What kind of things? And I
Yes.
put some personal touch. I mean, AI at the moment only generates what you put in as an input. You give an input and you get the outputs. But in the end, it might
No,
be very
absolutely.
intelligent and become like a monster thing. But again,
Mm.
it will not have that soul. I hope so. I mean, that's what I want
Yeah.
to believe.
No, it's a difficult one. I think you were right with what you were saying as well, is that designers just need to know how to work with AI and not against AI. And as you're
Mm,
saying, not to, you need the real human soul there to be able to also guide it in the way, in the direction that it is. Because as you said as well, AI can't have those conversations, with the clients and that's that sort of thing that you need. But to know that AI is here and it is a great tool to have. It's just knowing, like you said, you need to guide it, not be guided by it. And I think that's
I
vitally
also
important.
I will give you an
Please.
example. So a client of mine, they brief me. They say we want to have a carpet all over. If I was an AI, all right, I would give you all the
Yes.
like carpet solutions and carpet options. Like this is like a cut, this is bloom, or this is handcuffed. I would give all the options. But instead, what I did, because
Yes.
I'm human and I have some experience behind, I said, why? I question it. Why do you want this? They said because we
Mm,
don't like acoustical thing. We don't want hear the footsteps. I said, okay, I have
mm,
some solutions. We can have this special rubber between the joists, and then it creates this acoustical value as carpet. Then you can finish
mm.
wood flooring. You can finish with the stone flooring. This really, actually, I want wood flooring, but because of that, I didn't know. I just thought the carpet is only solution. This is the difference between
Yes.
AI and human. So AI would give you solutions what you ask them, but they don't think,
Yes.
they don't question it.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think you said it exactly as it is,
And
for
I
sure.
recently read this news. AI never say no. They never say I don't know. I say I don't know. I
No,
when I don't understand you, I say Imki, I didn't understand you. AI doesn't do that. They always find
exactly.
solution and they answer you. And sometimes I'm sorry, but
Yes.
it's bullshit. They don't really say what they're talking about, and it is really annoying.
Mm,
People take it
mm.
serious, and they are putting some
Yes.
statement that they look like true. So we should be
Yes.
very careful when we read the AI answers.
I guess that's also possibly where it comes down to that misconception that it will work if it comes from AI as well. Like as you were saying as well, you need to be able to have an open conversation and to question. Like you say, AI doesn't question, doesn't talk back, just puts the options out there. And whether it's going to work or not is obviously the question. So completely understand. I mean, we've basically touched on the next question about has B Studio dabbled with AI and digital tools to enhance your design processes? Or is
Of
that just
course,
another way to pretend you're working fast? And I know you've touched base on it already that you do use AI and digital tools, and that yes, it does create more efficiency. It makes you work go a lot faster. But do you think it does enhance your design process, or is it
definitely. I mean,
merely a form of being able
I
to work
cannot lie
faster?
about it. I mean, I'm using AI. I am using as a tool. As I'm using the computer, I'm using the mouse. I'm not
Yes.
drawing by hand anymore to speed up the process. Even like, let's say I for the admin work, like reviewing the service agreements, and I will give you example how I use it. So that will be also an example for
Mm,
the other listeners who are
sure.
designers. I design a space and I have a beautiful staircase. It has a unique joiner details. I put this image input into the AI. I said, find me 5 manufacturers in London who can make this design. And he
Mm,
sorted me all these companies and I checked their website. It was exactly the style I'm looking for. So I didn't need to really search
yes.
for like yellow page and look for the joineries who make
Mm,
that look. So he understood the style, image reading, like
yes.
they understand the style and then eliminated all other options. I use such things. It's really speed up my process.
That's a great example as well to give our listeners as well. And it's really about how to use the AI tools to your advantage as well, as you're saying, and what understanding when those processes come into play and when it really is a fantastic tool to use. Do you think interior design education has caught up with the technological age, or are we still stuck teaching students to draw by hand still and avoid the evil of computers? Or do you think it's really moved into the technology space?
Well, I'm not really following up the latest educational
Sure.
details, but what I see from because we receive many job applications, so I see juniors
Mm,
applying us. I see their, I see their qualifications. I don't reply them all, but I always open the email,
yes.
see, and I usually try to respond like, "Hey, improve this better." I don't have any openings, but if you do this, that will
Mm,
be beneficial. I try to give advice, and what I see there
sure.
technical specification, technical skills are actually getting like much better now.
Okay.
Comparing to other
Mm,
years, they know many tools, they know
yes.
many softwares, which is great. I think I don't know if the schools are followed these new trends, but I think the students did. I don't know. That's what I observe.
Yes. I can understand that looking at all the different portfolios that come through your desk to your desk as well. Looking at that, I can imagine that you can see the differences over the
Mhm.
years. And at the
So,
end of the day, I think you as as young up and coming designers or any of the designers as well, to be able to embrace it. It is here. The tools are there for you to use. And I guess it's always good to be able to do things by hand as well as be able to do everything else technically using technology as well. And being able to do both is obviously, would that be the absolute winner um,
yeah,
for within that?
sometimes you design something, and when you visit site, the
Mm,
builder is there, and you don't have computer or printer to make a design, and you need to
yes.
sketch the wall. So I have a very thick pen. I have to sketch to the wall.
Mm,
So that's what I mean. You need
yes.
that tool. You should
Yes.
find a solution at that moment. You cannot just say, "Okay, guys, wait me for a couple days. I will go back to
Mm,
office and design, make a CGI, and send it to you."
absolutely.
You have to find a solution. You have to do a detail and very simple way that they can understand. It should be very simple enough they understand. That
Sure.
kind of skills you should actually keep it
Yes.
as a base.
And the mindset of being solution orientated, and I guess it comes back to being able to manage and to balance both skills. quite efficiently and well. And as you said, find a solution, be solution orientated, because the project's not going to wait for you.
Yeah, I think
Please.
I think that today's summary would be like a yin and yang as a balance. As we're talking about like balance of on everything. So you're right.
If we're looking at trends and clients and where it's all going within the design industry, what's one global design movement you think London interior designers are completely ignoring? And why should they pay more attention to it before it's too
Mm.
late?
Well, I feel like in London, the this renewable energy and sustainability is being ignored a bit.
Mm,
There are no like, I mean, compared to New York or LA, that I have some connections there,
sure.
and then people are more giving attention to those kind of trends. It's not a trend actually. That's kind of mentalities. I wouldn't call this like a trend,
Mm,
just an approach, the design approach that is kind of, I think, not being used or preferred in London. And there are a couple
yes.
reasons for that. I mean, the first is like the cityscape is not suitable for it. Probably the houses are kind of like, there's a leaseholder and freeholder stuff. Like, I still don't get why there's such a
Mm,
thing. The guy is owns the space, but the bricks are owned by something else. So when you try to, let's say
yes.
in my last project, I wanted to have these, let's say the solar panels on the roof. I said, let's make a solar panel. So we save some
Mm,
energy and in the future proof. But the
yes.
freeholder didn't permit that. Who's the freeholder? I mean, you pay millions of pounds
Mm,
to own the space, but you don't really own it. You own this air inside the bricks.
yes.
The bricks are owned by somebody else. I really don't get this concept. So this
Yes.
is really not preventing some decisions. So,
Mm,
and especially this kind of renewable energy and sustainability decisions are based on,
sure.
because you need to impact the fabric, the envelope, and that is usually owned by freeholder. And sometimes
Mm,
freeholder and leaseholder the same person, but at that time, and maybe they don't prefer it. So, but what else I can tell is, yeah, I mean, yeah, as a BE studio, we prefer this like very minimalist and then this contemporary style,
mm,
and that's not really in general speaking the London's people prefer, but we find our niche, and whoever prefers that style, they find us already. So that we want to stand there, and then if
yeah.
they like our style, they approach us already. So we want to keep that.
Yes. No, absolutely. You must see so many different design movements from all over the globe where you were, as well as we were talking about the different spaces as well. I'm very sure that the design movements are vastly different in some spaces as well as the same and similar in others as well.
But
Mm,
that's, I mean, that's normal as well. Like in we are living in a modern world. It's kind of more philosophical thing now, and
sure.
we are going beyond the interior design. But you know what I mean? I mean, we have
Yes. No,
personal life, we have
absolutely.
work life, and we have like one persona, one different persona for friends,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
you have a persona for the offices. You have a different. I
Mm,
mean, ideally,
constantly
you
wearing different faces all the time.
exactly. Ideally, we should be one in the ideal world, but in this modern life, I
Mm,
mean, make us we should have different personas. But house
sure.
is the only space you don't need to lie to anyone. I think you should be yourself. That's you don't
Yes.
need to you should take your mask off. You should clean your makeups. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So
mm,
you should be you.
yes.
For us, we should find as a designer who you really are and who you really want. What do you really want? Not for because it's trend. What not for because it is people would like, just because you
Sure.
like it, just because you are happy with it.
Mm, mm. No, absolutely. And it needs to speak to you personally on a personal basis. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of the time, I think that also then comes down to everything with social media as well, is that sometimes we do things for, I don't want to say approval, but wanting someone to also like it. I think sometimes we also, we need to create spaces for you. And you're the one that's, the client is the one that's going to be staying there. It's not from the
Yeah,
other way around.
sure.
If we look a little bit at the FCI Touch and Reflections. If you were to collaborate with FCI London, what kind of design story would you want to tell?
Well, I mean, for us, every project has a unique story. So each project has its own narrative.
Sure.
If I collaborate with FCI London, I would like the FCI to be part of this story.
Looking back on your global design journey, what was the one moment that truly taught you about leadership in design? And was it as painful as it sounds? Designing and leadership all at the same time and your global journey. What was the one moment that truly taught you about leadership within the design field?
Well, I was working a hotel project in New York. It was a MGM National Harbor project. I work on that project 4 years. It's a long time, like 4 years of your life.
Sure.
And we were doing this
Yes.
interior design of all the rooms and some public spaces like lobby and ballroom, etc. And
Yes.
the builder decided to supply all these fitted furniture from out of country, which is from Barcelona. It was difficult. The shape of the building was already angular, so each room already was not repeating. So we have like 20 room type and different levels. And okay, ideally, if the everything is like laser cut, we should have 20, let's say 20 room types, and each room has its own joinery, fitted joinery. But in reality,
Yes.
that concrete is sometimes like from the formwork, it is like
Mm.
5 meter narrower, sometimes this side. So we end up like
Sure.
having like 300 room type, and we have to
I
develop
can
this.
imagine.
Exactly. And this, because it's going to be manufactured in a different country, it is double. We should double
Yes.
check everything. That was a big challenge. And I said, okay, no more. This kind of decision affects our like job, but we succeeded very well, increased the tolerances and put some
Mm.
like tolerance pieces that would be flexible and cut on size, but
Mm.
that was a big challenge on that project.
I can imagine, especially with, a project of that magnitude and of that scope, and not every room is different and leaning to a different side, a different angle. I can understand why the project would have taken as long as it did as well,
Yeah.
just in terms of making sure that the precision is there and making 100% sure everyone's on the right track and on the right space. Do you think that's probably one of the most challenging projects you've had, would you say?
I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but there was a project I purchased the sofa, and
Mm.
that was the first time I haven't like it was fitting the room perfectly, but I didn't really consider how we're gonna take off the sofa into in that level, and it didn't pass through the hallway. So I totally didn't
Okay.
consider that because it was wide, and I thought they would come in pieces, but they said no, it's a fixed model.
Mm.
The sofa literally didn't fit into the corridor.
Oh, no.
What I end up like, I literally dismantled the window, like it was like fixed window, and I had to put it through the window. That was like one of the challenge I had, and many stories I have. Like, I mean, it's kind of
Yes.
lessons learned. I can, in the end, it is a big nice photo, but we all have these
No,
failures
absolutely.
and lesson learned. And once I wanted to have
Yes.
this big granite ceramic tile to be one piece to the delivered on site, and there
Yes.
was a forklift on the second level. We were trying
Mm.
to locate, and the operator said, the tile guy said, I have a height phobia. I cannot go into that forklift. And me
Yes.
myself, I end up like going in the forklift. Like, I find myself, I'm operating a forklift to carry this big tile because the guy has a phobia. So kind of funny and stories. Yeah.
No, but I guess at the end of the day, it's the experience, and it is about the stories. Every project is different. Nothing is ever the same. And as you said earlier and throughout the interview today, it's about being adaptable and solution orientated, simply taking,
Exactly.
having to, find another solution, removing a window to get that piece in there, and those memories are fantastic. And it gives also, I think, extra charm to the place at the end of the day and to the
Yeah,
spaces that were created. It
that's true.
really just, and then it resonates with you as well.
That was the stressful moment for that moment with the client, but now we
Sure.
are joking about it and laughing about it a lot.
Exactly, exactly. And you made it work. You found the solution, which at the end of the day is all that matters. Is trying to make sure that that end product gets to the point that it needs to get to, and the goal is achieved. But
That's right.
thank you so much, Bilal. This is the end of our interview for today. It was absolutely wonderful having you, and thank you so much again for sharing your journey and your philosophy and artistry behind your work. I mean, it's really
Thank you.
inspiring as well to hear how your global experiences also continue to shape your vision for sustainable modern design, and we really
Thank
look
you.
forward to to see what's next for B Studio.
Thank you, Imken. Very nice to meet you, and looking forward to meet you in person in London.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely. And to all our lovely listeners and watchers, thank you so much for joining us on the FCI London podcast. Keep following, keep designing, and again, join us for more insights from London's most influential luxury designers. I'm Imke du Toit, and thank you so much for listening.